So let's pick up then on that conversation. For more, we are joined by the Home Affairs Chief Director, Limpopo Provincial Manager, and also the Temporary Repatriation Center Project Manager, Albert Matsaung. Good evening to you, and thank you for your time. So just about a week ago, on Sunday, Minister Mamoloko Gopai telling us that from the 1st of August, the operations at that repatriation center will begin to scale back from a capacity of some 20,000 to about 1,500. Let me start by asking you, has that happened, and what does that look like?
Now, maybe first, let me greet you and greet all the viewers of SABC News. I must indicate that, yes, it is correct that immediately after the pronouncement by the Interministerial Committee, chaired by Minister Gubai, that they will scale down operations, we have started with the scaling down operations, and I must indicate that this was as a result of the numbers that have been going down since we started with this project. You'll note that since we started with this project, there's been quite a lot of people that came through the center that we have managed to process for them to be able to go to their countries through the repatriation process. So now, as and when the numbers dropped, then that resulted with the decision by the Interministerial Committee. So we're implementing the scaling down, which talks to us having to bring down some of the infrastructure that we have had within the facility, and also making sure that the numbers that are coming through the center, as and when they come, we process them and so that they can quickly be repatriated back to their country of origin.
Yeah. So, I mean, as you're saying that you're beginning to scale down as well as the issues of the infrastructure, what specifically are we talking about? The hard infrastructure in the form of the marquees and everything else that supported the presence of those people on a daily basis since about June or thereabouts? Or are we talking the Home Affairs and other departmental infrastructure that was inside those marquees?
Now, you'll note that when we started with the project and the facility itself was planned for over 20,000, to carry over and support over 20,000 people. And then in terms of that capacity, that also talks to the capacity that we have to bring on board in terms of the staff or the officials that are supposed to be dealing with that. But more important, the infrastructure within which they were accommodated in, being an infrastructure that was built for over 20,000 people. But additional to that, there are other stakeholders that have been assisting us in terms of food provision and in terms of making sure that all the people that are in the center are provided with food. So it talks to quite all those issues. Is the infrastructure, the number of people that we are providing support to the 20,000 now when the number is scaled down. Obviously, you'll know that the 20,000 that we've been catering for, if the number is now moving to 1,500, then we also have to make sure that the infrastructure, the kind of support that the other stakeholders were giving in terms of food will also be reduced. And that is where we are currently.
Yeah. Mr. Matsaung, we talk glibly, without needing to explain, about people being quote-unquote processed at this center, but never really, I don't believe we've unpacked what that entails and what best practice it holds for you as officials as you move from this current mode of operation where you had that temporary repatriation center and now move to the 5-point plan mode of working. What does processed mean? What exactly were you doing with these people, and what best practice does it hold for the move to the 5-point plan mode of operation?
Now, remember, in terms of the 5-point plan, one of the issues that what was part of the 5-point plan was to make sure that the immigration laws of these countries are enforced. What that meant was that, which is now linking to the process that we're dealing with now. We're repatriating people. The people that were being repatriated are people that raised their hands, that volunteered to go to their country of origin. What it meant is that as and when they raise their hands, then their embassies come on board, trying to make sure that those people are identified, confirmed to be their nationals, and after that, then we come in as Home Affairs just to make sure that they are properly documented so that they can then be able to have all the necessary documentations that will allow them to proceed through the port of entry. You'll know that these people, immediately after they've been processed, confirmed by their embassies. We come on board as Home Affairs, document them, take their fingerprints. Then from there, the embassy will also prepare what you call the passport list or the emergency travel certificate, which will then enable them to produce it when they arrive at a port of entry for them to be processed by BMA with ease.
So one of the elements you mentioned there talks to taking their fingerprints, and I think that's been part of the conversation, hasn't it? Are you able to reflect on the ability to detect people that were wanted for crimes within South Africa, but also how you, in fact, let me ask you that question, and then I'll ask you about how you dealt with complexities of children moving between two countries. But let's start with, you know, the fingerprinting being part of the process of processing these people. What did that yield for you?
Now, in terms of the fingerprint process, remember, in line with the processing that we implemented at the center, all the government departments were also on board in terms of assisting us. And one critical government stakeholder is the South African Police Services. When the South African Police Services, of course, supported by the Department of Justice, brought in what you call an integrated system, where they are using it to make sure that before each and every one is processed out, their biometric is taken. But the biometric then does is that it runs through all the government systems. It runs through the criminal systems also to check and confirm if the people that we are repatriating do not have outstanding cases that they still have to answer. I must indicate that that system has assisted us a lot in terms of detecting, number one, some of the people that were identified as people that violated the Immigration Act. There are some of the people that were detected who have been part of, who have got criminal acts, and some of the pending cases that were still active. So in instances where there are pending cases, for instance, they manage, their system managed to detect cases of murder, cases of robbery, and in instances where we've got some of those cases still pending, active, those people were then taken off for them to be able to answer before they could even be repatriated, to avoid us having to repatriate people that still have got criminal acts that they still have to answer in this country.
There's so much to talk about, but I'm out of time. Lastly, let's talk about complexities, because many of those that were being repatriated are children, minors. And we know just the amount of care and diligence that's required in dealing with the, inter-country travel of minors, issues of nationality. I saw that at some point, one or two instances came to the fore. How did you navigate that within our human rights and dignity ethos, and well as the best interest of the child standard that we uphold in our law?
I must indicate that the social development, the IOM, all the organizations that have got interest on the issues of children were working with us. The good thing is that most of the children that were repatriated through the center were accompanied children. Those were children that were traveling together with their parents. Some of the children were also traveling with their relatives. Social development, IOM, and all the other organizations that have got interest in terms of children, together with embassies, have been able to assist us to make sure that those children are moved with ease. But I must indicate that a highest percentage of the children that came through the center were accompanied. They had their own family members and parents. So it was easy for us to deal with the issues of children supported by social development and other international organizations.
All right, let's leave it there for this evening. Thank you for your time and for sharing of those experiences and insights. That's the Home Affairs Chief Director, Limpopo Provincial Manager, as well as the Temporary Repatriation Center Project Manager, Albert Matsawung, reflecting there as the operations at that center in Musina begin to scale back.